If you want to put your home on the market, we've been talking a lot about this. What all needs to happen for you to put your home on the market?
So I'll walk you through kind of the whole process, and this has to be done, this is a pretty thorough process because it's a big deal. You got to make sure you get everything right when the home hits the market. So I've said this like dozens of times, especially on the show, but the earlier you can get in touch with me, the better.
Realty expert John Brodeen. The commercial we just played, the Berkshire Hathaway commercial. I know you're a skier, but are you a warm weather skier also?
No, not really. I've done it a couple times.
Yeah, you're a snow guy.
Yeah.
How you been?
Good.
Couple of days now.
I know. Yeah.
We were talking before we went on about computers and emails and things like that, and you said to me, "I wish they would have taught more of that when we were going to school." And I said, "Well, at least you had that option when you were going to school because there was no such thing as emails or our computers back then. You had to take the old phone and put it on this thing, and you use this big old anyway. I'm getting really old. Wow, Friday.
Don't date yourself.
Yeah, I know. Big plans for the weekend?
I think we've got a friend's kid's birthday party on Sunday. I think it's Sunday's the 12th, right? It's my sister's birthday too.
So
we'll probably be doing something for both of those things.
Oh, cool.
Not sure what else I got going on yet. But
all right. If you want to put your home on the market, we've been talking a lot about this. What all needs to happen for you to put your home on the market?
So I'll walk you through kind of the whole process, and this has to be done. This is a pretty thorough process because it's a big deal. You got to make sure you get everything right when the home hits the market. So I've said this like dozens of times, especially on the show, but the earlier you can get in touch with me, the better, because it's going to make it so much less stressful for you, and it's going to give us enough time to get everything done just right, so that you can get the best outcome. So the first thing that you're going to do, you call me up and say, "Hey, John, we are thinking about moving. Here's why. This is what we're trying to do. Whether you live in the area or you're staying in the area, I'm going to have you fill out a questionnaire. I'm going to get to know the situation about your home, any updates that you've made, get kind of the history on what you've done to the place. Going to find out how much you owe because I'm going to run a net sheet on the property once I figure out the value. It's a way for me to get to know everything that I need to know about your situation and your house, so that we can be as efficient as possible when we actually meet, and I can know all the important stuff ahead of time, and then I can ask the right questions. So that's the first step. It's a quick questionnaire that I send to you. You're able to fill it out on your phone or computer, and then I get it back, and I know everything I need to know.
Okay.
The next thing, so at that point in time, we're also probably going to schedule the CMA home walkthrough. So at the CMA home walkthrough, I'm going to give you some tips on staging, on any repairs that probably should be made before we hit the market, anything that you need to declutter, any extra stuff that you need to move out of the house, maybe store it in the garage or even get a storage unit if you're totally out of room. Sometimes we'll talk about rearranging furniture a little bit to make rooms look bigger. Talking about little decorating tips and decluttering, minimalizing, just getting everything the way it needs to be for when the house is going to have the photo shoot done and then the showings. So the next step is we're going to meet to review the CMA. So after I've walked through the property, I'm going to go back to the office. I'm going to pull some comps. Comps are recent sales that are similar to your property. I'm going to use those comps to figure out what the comps say the market value is. Then I'm also going to look at the pending sales, the active listings that we're going to be competing against, and looking at how many homes are selling versus how many homes are actually on the market in your price range to see how much of a seller's market it is. If it was in a normal market, figuring out if it is a buyer's or seller's market. Right now, we're just figuring out how much of a seller's market it is in your price range, because not every price range is the same exact market. There could be a price range where very few homes are selling and there's more homes sitting on the market, and there could be a price range where there's zero inventory and everything that hits the market sells instantly. So that's going to help. That's going to affect where we decide to price it at as well. It's not only the comps. So we're going to meet and we're going to review that CMA. I'm going to explain everything to you, answer any questions, explain exactly the adjustments that we've made, the comps that we chose, why we chose them. And at this stage is when most people are going to sign the listing agreement with me, which hires me to be your agent. Once you've done that, I can get the professional photos scheduled. We'll work around if there's repairs that need to be made. We'll make sure the photos are after that. If it's going to take you a little bit to do the cleaning and decluttering and all that, we'll make sure that all of that stuff's done and the house is looking absolutely perfect for the photos. This is important. You don't want to rush this because your online presence is probably the most important thing when it comes to marketing a property. So you need to make sure the home looks its absolute best in these photos. And this is inside and outside, like cleaning around the front door, cleaning under the soffits, cleaning, adding mulch to the beds, pulling weeds, getting the grass looking good. We're going to make sure it looks amazing.
I just went through 70 bags of mulch, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
I had to get that out of
most
there.
people don't have as big of a yard as you do. So yeah, so we get these professional photos scheduled. From the time the photographer gets there, usually we have to schedule out a few days, and then it's usually a couple more days before all the marketing's ready to go and all the edits are back and everything like that. And also sometimes if there was some staging stuff that we had to get done after that initial staging consult and the CMA meeting, I'll come back and I'll do a second little tune-up right before the photos happen, and just make sure every little detail is perfect for the photos. And then that's the way that you're going to try to keep it for all the showings. So photos get done. And here's the other thing that some people decide to do. You have the option to do a pre-inspection. So you could get a home inspection done, fix up any of the little issues that show up, and then that way you can provide the buyers with a home inspection report and say, hey, these are the issues that they found. We fixed all of them. This could help make it be a quicker process, but not everybody has the time to go through with this. But it is an option. So the photo shoot gets done, and then the house is going to be ready to hit the market in about 3 days after the photo shoot gets done. So there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff that has to get done. The other things that I'm going to collect from you, I need to have you fill out the seller's property disclosure. I'm going to get from you a 12-month average of like your utility billing history, because almost everybody asks about this. So I like to provide more information than all the other agents about my listing, so that they don't have to ask me and I don't have to ask the sellers. I want it to be right there for them. So online with the listing in the MLS, it's going to be private, so just the agents can see it. I'll put up the utility billing history. Going to make a list of all the major updates that the sellers have made to the property and put that in the documents section as well for the agents to view. I want the agents to have more information than everybody else when they're showing that property, so they can look like the smart one. By being able to say, hey, this is what the utility bills are, helps them be more prepared.
Absolutely.
Makes them look good to their clients, makes their job easier. That's my main goal, is to just make the other agent look as good as possible with this stuff, make it easier for them to sell my listings than one of my competitors.
Somebody that might be selling, and John, you're saying, to make it easier on the agent. But a lot of these things, when you talk about staging and just the things you should do, a lot of this is just easy stuff. It's not like you got to call a contractor in or something. A lot of these things are just basically cleaning up and moving stuff out of the way.
Yep.
And when you talk about, get a hold of us early, a couple of months early, because let's face it, a lot of people might think, okay, I hired a realtor, and all you do is say, okay, I'll be your guy, and you go plop a sign in their yard. There's way more to it than that, and it will save you tons of headaches if you go through the right phases and like you are saying now.
Yeah. And if somebody contacts me a couple months in advance, that's where we have more time to get more things done that's gonna be profitable for you. So for example, let's say the paint colors are real bad and the seller knows it, and their carpeting is completely worn out and needs to be replaced. If that seller, in their mind, they're like, well, if I replace the carpet and if I repaint, the buyers might not like it. So I'm just gonna let them do it on their own after closing. They might not know that you lose so much money by taking that route compared to just spending the money yourself and picking something neutral that I can help coach you on what to pick. You're going to net, like, let's say you spend, $1,500 paint and carpet. That's something that could net you $3,000 or $4,000 on your sale compared to what would happen if you didn't touch it and you had to make it so that the buyers were going to have to do their own thing after closing. Buyers want move-in ready homes. And if your house is super close to being move-in ready and all it takes is some carpet and paint to get it move-in ready, that's where those extra months that you have now are gonna, that could make you $3,000, $4,000 or or,
Even more.
even more depending on what the market's like. I mean, the hotter the market is, the more of a premium move-in ready homes are getting.
It's such a hurry up world right now. Everything needs to be done like right now or yesterday. Does that kind of hinder you with what you do? I mean, you're telling people you should be prepared a couple of months in advance, but everybody's always in such a hurry.
Yeah, sometimes you got to slow it down a little bit, and there's a lot of agents who won't do that, and then you see a lot of really big mistakes. Like, they're in such a rush to get the listing on the market. They put it on the market with the county photo before they even get the professional photos back. Well, here's what happens if they do that. It goes on the hot sheet for 24 hours when it's a new listing, and it gets blasted out to all the buyers who have automatic emails set up with their agents when a listing hits in their price range, and the buyers and the agents all click on it during this 24-hour period. Look at it. There's no photos. They skip it over, and then they probably forget about it. And then, 2-3 days later, when all the new listing photos are on, they don't go back to that listing and go look at it. So you've just missed out on a whole lot of visibility, especially in that really valuable time, right when you hit the market.
And, there's so many different realtors and realty companies, but let's face it, basically it costs the same for pretty much all realtors. You get your percentage, but why not, if you're going to pay the same, get a professional like you guys at Berkshire Hathaway that do all this stuff like you're talking about?
Yep.
It just makes sense.
And you're hiring the agent. You're not hiring the company, and that's something that some people might not know. Every company has great agents, and every company has not so great agents. That's just the way it is in real estate. And so do your research. Ask for referrals from your friends. Read people's online reviews. Interview a few realtors. Be thorough about choosing a realtor. The other thing that people, if they're in too much of a rush, or maybe the agent just doesn't have the knowledge, is they're not going to nail that preparation, staging, decorating, decluttering part of things. Like, you'd be surprised how many homes I walk into where it's not completely spotlessly clean. And even if it's like most of the way clean, but then let's say like the stovetop has gunk stuck on it, it's not all the way there, and it could show better, and you want to get the house looking so good that there's no way it could possibly show any better.
Right. I mean, if you're showing me a house without my wife, I'm going to miss a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm looking at garages and windows and roof and things like that. Well, she's looking at that kind of stuff, but it's all important.
Yeah. People, like if you're not that picky on things, you're not going to mind if a home is really super clean. And if someone is picky, they're really going to mind if a home is not super clean. So you need to appeal to the masses. When you're staging a home for sale, you're trying to sell the perfect life there. And the perfect life of living in this home is not a dirty home. It's a clean, organized, fresh, that's what you're selling. So that's why you need to prepare the home that way. And, it's not just about being picky and about, it's thousands of dollars that this could cause. It could cause $1,000 swing or more, how clean you keep the property. It could cost you months. If you slack on this bad enough, it could cost you months of holding costs and time on market, losing consumer confidence in your product. And that's not something you can get back. You can't have it be filthy for the first 2 months on the market. You don't sell because it's filthy, and then you get it spotlessly clean and you have it professionally cleaned every week. You're never going to get that same type of attention on the property as you're going to during that first little short time window. So you're never going to get that back.
So if you're talking, you could cost you $1,000 just if your house is clean or not. Why not spend a couple $100, get a professional cleaner in there, and you're still going to be up $700-800.
I'd strongly recommend doing that, especially unless you're a person who loves to clean, or if you're just naturally such a
clean freak.
If you're not that, it might take so much off your plate to just hire it out that it's going to make the process just that much easier and more stress-free for you. I'd totally recommend anything that does that for you.
Well, there we go. The professional, the realty expert, John Brodeen. How do we get a hold of you, John?
Go ahead and follow me on Instagram and subscribe to me on YouTube. If you are wanting to reach out to me directly, send me a text message or give me a phone call, 701-213-5428. That is my cell number.
All right. I guess I'll see you in a couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah, sounds good.
Have yourself a wonderful weekend, my friend.
You as well, John. Thanks.
All right, there you go. That's your Berkshire Hathaway Friday edition of your bi-weekly podcast with realty expert John Brodeen. We'll be back again with Berkshire Hathaway on Wednesday.